Okay, guys, it is October 10th, 2024, and this is the latest news update for Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. I have two stories. The first one is going over a scoping case in Medellin, and this one is an en masse, meaning there's four people, four foreigners, it says. Three were American and one Venezuelan woman. Not sure if she got caught up in it and actually drank the wrong drink or who knows. But let's jump into this first story and stick around for the second one because it gives a better understanding about how the scoping actually happens in Medellin, Colombia, and how to avoid it. So let's jump into this first story right away. Three Americans and a Venezuelan woman were scopolamined in a lodging in the Suramericana neighborhood in Medellin. Four foreigners, three Americans and a Venezuelan, were victims of theft after being drugged, apparently by five women who were taken to the accommodation rented through platforms after meeting with them in a commercial establishment in the La Setenta neighborhood west of Medellin. The report of what happened came at 11:53 in the morning this Monday at Carrera 68 and Calle 48 in the Suramericana neighborhood, Comuna 11, Laureles Estadio, when the victims, as best they could, reported that they were victims of theft, since the three Americans did not speak Spanish well. According to court records, these people, after entering the property early Monday morning, began consuming alcoholic beverages and suddenly lost consciousness. When they woke up, they began to search and saw that their cell phones and credit cards and $2,000 USD were missing, which they had to support their stay in Medellin for the next few days. The four foreigners affected by this substance were transferred in ambulances from the Medellin Health Department to nearby health centers to detoxify and stabilize them due to the amount of the substance they consumed. This case is the second of a massive nature to be recorded this year in Laureles Estadio in the last 2 months, since on October 11th, two Norwegian tourists were robbed inside their lodging after letting in two women with whom they were socializing in a commercial establishment. At that time, the Scandinavians were robbed of two high-end cell phones, 15 credit cards, cash, and documents with which they were traveling around the country. Due to the number of doses administered, they had to be taken to medical centers. In response to repeated reports of thefts against foreigners using this method, authorities have carried out attacks against the structures focused on this crime, and in recent days, personnel from the Metropolitan Police captured two women accused of stealing from national and foreign tourists in Medellin, in the procedures carried out in Bejo. This is in addition to 7 other arrests that were reported on August 25th after the Metropolitan Police captured 7 other members of the La Viña criminal group who are believed to be involved in theft from tourists in Medellin. The actions of this organization focused on recruiting its victims, Colombians and foreigners, to use various forms of theft, such as robbery and the use of scopolamine supplied mainly through women. This year, 19,269 cases of theft from persons have been reported, 4,655 cases less than last year. Of these cases, 1,075 robberies were recorded in Laureles Estadio, 1,537 robberies less than last year in this comuna. Okay, so this next story gives you, or should give you, a better understanding as how this even happens. And it gives some pretty good insight. So check this story out right away. Robberies with scopolamine and sedatives. What to do? In Medellin, there are gangs dedicated to committing crimes through the use of scopolamine and sedatives. Laida Alvarez, a pensioner living in the La Estrella, was left in debt to a financial institution and lost the cash she had in her home after a man and a woman approached her on the street on November 22nd. 12 hours later, at the clinic in the city, doctors confirmed to the family that the woman had been the victim of thieves who gave her scopolamine and left her abandoned in the center of Medellin. I remember that I followed them like a fool, she says. Although Alvarez claimed that the woman only grabbed her by the arm, toxologist Gabriela Jaime Restrepo says that these types of substances have a lesser effect when inhaled or administered by contact. Although there is a myth that the drug was blown in their face or touched, evidence has shown that in these cases the effects are minimal. What almost always happens is that the person ate or drank something and does not remember it, he said. According to the experts, scopolamine, when ingested, it inactivates certain neurotransmitters and causes memory impairment and loss of consciousness. But it is not used alone. According to Restrepo, who is part of the Center for Information and Studying of Drugs and Toxics at the University of Antioquia. Scopolamine causes psychomotor disorders and aggression, effects that are counteracted by criminals with the sedative drugs such as benzodiazepines. That is, we have a double intoxication. The person who consumes the drug is agitated, hot, has a red face, feels thirsty, has very dilated pupils, and depending on the quantity, could have memory impairment, impaired state of consciousness, delirium, severe convulsions, or death, added the doctor. The most serious aspect of this situation is that the victims rarely realize that they have been drugged because the effects are felt in a matter of seconds. Isolated cases. Laida's case is not the only one we have heard about in the city. Today, the Forensic Medicine Department is making progress in its investigation to establish whether the Turkish professor Ramazan Cenke and Antiochian Jairo Antonio Rodas Areza died as a result of sedative poisoning. Both cases are under investigation. We hope that the forensic medicine will determine the case and whether there was an overdose from some type of substance, says the mayor of Medellin, Federico Gutierrez, who acknowledged that in the city there are structures dedicated to using women to approach men, almost always foreigners, and steal their belongings, as happened with Cenke. Eyes in the park. The two deceased teachers had a common visit to a place before their disappearance, Parque Lleras. That is why all eyes are on this place. Sandra Geraldo, manager of El Poblado, said that it cannot yet be concluded that the substances received by the victims or the people with whom they were associated with came from the park. 82% of foreigners who come to Medellin visit Parque Lleras at some point during their stay. We must wait for the investigations to avoid fueling a stigma against the site or focusing on single point, because these networks can also follow them from airports, hostels, and restaurants, he said. Currently, the Responsible Tourism Network of Medellin, in alliance with Migración Colombia and the police, installed checkpoints in Lleras and other busy areas such as Ciudad del Rio and Provenza to assist the visitors. The challenge is to inform them of the risk without creating panic. They often make mistakes such as taking out large amounts of money late at night or walking around with flashy jewelry, which attracts the attention of criminals, explained Geraldo. The recommendations given to foreigners are to have emergency numbers at hand, to know that they cannot consume alcohol in the parks, where they can call a taxi, and which are the legal places to party. Bet on prevention. Mayor Gutierrez called for self-care by nationals and foreigners. My instructions are to put an end to these gangs, but we also need the cooperation of merchants to maintain control of the establishments, he said. Dr. Restrepo also recommended not losing sight of drinks or food, since sedatives have no smell or taste and their effect on the body is almost immediate. So there you go. That last story is a good one. It gives you an idea. It does repeat over the same things we've been saying for years. But again, I recognize everybody doesn't see my videos, don't see other YouTube vloggers that are warning them. Don't go on the dating apps. Don't take someone else's drink. Don't leave your drink on the bar when you walk away. Just basic things too. No, again, no thought of papaya. And again, if you don't understand what no thought of papaya is, you shouldn't be going. Just my 2 cents. Got to be careful, guys. Remember, like I said, every time one of these stories happens and I have to read the unfortunate stories, it's someone's son. You are someone's son, someone's father, someone's cousin, someone's uncle, and even the women too. But again, you don't hear the stories. You don't hear these stories happening to women. I'm going to guess this fourth chick. You tell me. I'm going to guess the fourth chick in this story, the Venezuelan. Okay, 3 Americans or 3 other foreigners and 1 Venezuelan. I'm going to guess that maybe she was in on it and drank out of the wrong drink. It's a possibility. Who knows? Nobody knows until you guys start sharing the story. So if you have stories and you want to share and you want to come on and tell the story, reach out and let me know. dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. I'm still in DC. I'm e-biking all over the city. I've seen this city better than I've seen it in I don't know how long. Hopefully I'll ride again tomorrow morning. Seeing more family tonight. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Buck. Shout out to my cuz, everybody here. Anyway, you're up to date with the latest out of Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to travel, but travel safe. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. right quick. If you need to have things shipped to Colombia, shipped to someone else, or shipped to yourself to Colombia from the United States, make sure you reach out to CaribbeanShipper.com. CaribbeanShipper.com. The contact information is coming next. Join me on social media. I am dcbornrob official on Instagram. I am dcbornrob official 1 on TikTok. I am dcbornrob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. If you're in Medellin and you need dental work done, from a basic cleaning to major reconstructive surgery, come see my guy, Dr. Carlos Mori. Contact information in the description below.
Thanks for hitting like. You did the right thing by hitting like. Thanks for hitting like. Thanks for hitting like. DC Born Rob.